People are saying that this movie had a lot of satanic symbolism in it. Now, if you haven't seen this movie already, it's called Leave the World Behind, and it's about America's enemies joining together to take down the country. They do it in a 3-step process. Isolation, disable all communication, transportation, leaving people deaf, dumb, and paralyzed. Synchronized chaos, which is terrorize them with covert attacks, disinformation, and no clear enemy. Third, civil war and collapse. Now, from the start of this movie, you see a blatant 666 right in front of your face. And in a promotional poster, people are saying it says, I am Baal. Who is Baal? A demon that Christians believe in. He's basically Satan's head demon. Not to mention this movie was produced by Barack and Michelle Obama. Are people just reaching, or is something big coming?
Okay, y'all, so this movie was basically about a family wanting to leave the world behind by going on a vacation in a Airbnb. While they're at this Airbnb, this man shows up at the front doorstep and he says, this is my house. There is something wrong with the GPS and all the electricity is out. And this is the only house that I know that has a backup generator. So can I stay the night? They're distrustful. All of this crazy stuff starts happening, which is basically a cyber attack. And then everything, the world just goes to bullcrap. I want to review this movie because I watched it last night and certain things that clicked inside of my head, I want to share with y'all as I always do. Let's just get into it. And y'all know I love to watch movies. Can we talk about how the house is white? Anyways, y'all know I love to watch movies and I'm the person that's always looking for the behind the scenes, dark theory type stuff going on. So let's just get into the TikTok videos I've liked and a couple of explanations that I have found in the movie.
Let's talk about this movie, Leave the World Behind. I mean, the title says enough, Leave the World Behind. Now, the first thing I noticed when I started watching this movie was how they kept showing the Rockstar logo. You feel me? We all know it's a new GTA coming out. All this stuff is symbolic. Pay attention to the beat headphones he got on. You feel me? They showing us how they distract us through this music, through these games. The driveway of the house they pulled into. And there gotta be some of these beats in this music, because tell me that this is not a beat right there. Y'all see that? And tell me there's not an AirPod where this yellow arrow at. Something about them beats. I don't know what it is. Which makes me wonder about this scene right here. I always remember to watch out for the checkerboard. It's always gonna be somewhere in the mix. I've been warning y'all about the blackout. I'm telling y'all, they put this stuff in movies. Y'all better pay attention. They show how distracted our kids be. You feel me? They'll never see the seriousness in real situations. You feel me? All this going on and what she worried about watching that show. A coincidental knowing what this movie.
Okay, so me personally, I'm gonna have to stop you on that one because I really feel like the daughter Rose was more aware and woke than anybody else in the movie. Let's just tap in. But let's continue watching your side.
This movie about she got on a NASA shirt. I'm telling you, all this stuff is symbolic. I remember when the radio had went in and out and it was talking about how the cyber attack was messing up the animal migration pattern. I remember when all the animals was acting weird, walking in circles and nobody know what was going on. That's the same thing. That's what was happening with these deer in the movie. Crazy how these movies be reflecting real life, huh? Y'all remember what they said this meant on that paper? Death to America. Now this dude say that Korea is behind all this, which is ironic because wasn't we just into it with North Korea? And we know this man knew what he was talking about in the movie because he was the only one that really had supplies at the end. Cut off all communication, cut off all transportation. This part right here though, this part right here was so surreal. That part right here gave me the chills. And it became too dependent of technology. You feel me? This new technology and stuff. Remember what he said? The truth is more scarier. And they literally told us everything in this movie. The whole time, these people looking for help, you feel me? They looking for a safe place. Talking about the daughter end up finding the rich people bunker. They keep showing us how distracted the kids be. Instead of her going to get her family and letting them know that she found the bunker, she decided to sit there and catch up on her show. What really get me is, these two helped produce this movie. How ironic. Already been talking about we ain't got no government, you feel me? So this really make me think like, have we already been left behind or something? I mean, he did say no one is in control.
Let's go through to the beginning. This is just my analysis. The first thing that you see is this White House. And y'all already got to see the beginning where they pulled up and it looked like the Beats logo. Now, we already know that the family has came to this house to do an Airbnb trip. And this White House is owned by a black man. He knocks on the door saying there's been an outage. The traffic lights are not working and he lives on the 14th floor of a penthouse and they don't have electricity, so he wouldn't be able to go up the stairs because he has bad knees. Now, the woman who booked the Airbnb, she's just like, oh no, I'm not okay with this. I'm not cool with this. And she's kind of coming off as racist, right? And then the melanated girl, she's basically saying that this is our house. We should be able to stay here. There's been a difficulty with the electricity and the whole shutdown that's happening with the city. She's like, this is my house. Why should I should be able to stay in here. And she's like, well, I booked this Airbnb and blah, blah, blah. The white woman starts to think that they are just servants of the house. They're not actually the owners. They're lying, or they're looters, or they're trying to come in and take the house. And the man who owns the house, he is basically trying to appease to her with his whitewashing personality. He's basically code switching, trying to come off as a white man, and his daughter is not for the bull crap. She's like, why are you kissing these people's butt? This is your house. He says, how about I stay downstairs? Plus, I'll give you $1,000 for staying in my house. She was just really over it at that point. This is a man who works around a lot of white men and a lot of rich people. Now, the first part of this movie, you see a painting in the background with a bunch of eyes. You have to pay attention to the color coordination of this movie. Everything starts off as blue, nice, really nice, cute. Everything's just safe, and then things start to turn red. Ruth, the daughter, is standing on business about her house, which is the White House, which is owned by a black man. Do you see how I'm referencing this from history and also in the movie? What is the White House? The main house of the people who run the land. Who's in the White House? White people. But whose house is it actually? Now, as y'all know, with my situation, I had a whole lot of backlash and issues with TikTok and the people on there because I was talking about how African people, melanated people, were here in America before Columbus. If y'all want to know more about the proof of Afro-Americans being here before Columbus and all of that, go watch that video. If y'all notice, they do a lot of references in this movie on the history of Afro-Indigenous melanated Americans here. They end up seeing something on the TV that says, blue light, national alert, effective immediately. This emergency broadcast system is an issue of an unrecognized emergency warning. Continue to pay attention to this color coordination. They end up letting them stay in the basement of their house. Now let's go into the next part, the curve. She ends up getting up and seeing that satellites have gone out, hackers are behind the power outage, and then some weird symbolize on her phone. And she tried to show her husband, and he doesn't see anything. Clay is representing a man who doesn't know nothing about the world. He's basically just doing what is told to him by the government. His wife seems to be the person that takes control and dominance within the relationship, which is showing that he's not a man who actually can survivalistically provide for his family, which is the reason why he doesn't see anything and he's not taking anything serious when it comes down to the instances that's happening that is adding up to a cyber attack and the world is ending. He says, oh, okay, I'll be a man. I'll go out there and figure out what's going on finally now that I'm listening to you. And then while he's out looking, he steps outside of the car and then you hear that there has been a cyber attack, blah, blah, blah. There's some crazy stuff going on. And then the radio is at 1619. Now let's look up what happened in year 1619. The first slaves were brought to America. In the movie, he's driving a blue car. And what does he see? Red falling from the sky. This red is frightening him. Look, he looks terrified. He tried to bust a U-turn, try to get away from the red. Now I'm going to tell you what the red means because he's running away from the red. He's running away from the real reality of what's going on. Everybody has been so distracted by blue light. The blue is making everybody feel comfortable, right? The blue is a distraction. Now when the red comes, it's the real reality. It's reality shifting in. As you can see, he's terrified of papers. Why is he so terrified of papers that's falling out of the sky? What is there to be afraid of? Now, let's look into what the red paper said.
For those that have seen the movie Leave the World Behind, remember the red pamphlets that came down from the drone. Now, everything was written in Arabic, but they gave us the meaning of the front side of that pamphlet. The back side, they did not tell us what it meant. So I'm going to translate from Arabic to English what that message basically was saying. We want you to pay attention to what we are going to say to you in this pamphlet or paper. We have a lot of explosives that are the most powerful in history. We will leave this horrific fact for you to contemplate. And they're going to use this on the land to stop something. See? So this movie is very realistic. And, you know, today, currently, we're getting a lot of threats from these groups of what they're going to do here on this land. Okay? So in this movie, it's basically confirming that New York is a prime target. And later on during the movie, New York is hit with a lot of fire. Okay? So it's something to pay attention to and to be aware of. Always.
Notice how she's the one who's getting out the car to see what's going on. And you see all of these white cars. Teslas. Right? She's looking around trying to figure out what's going on. They're crashed and blocking the roadway to the city.
You know what, yes. Sit down, okay? See anyone?
There's nobody here.
Nobody in these empty cars. She looks around and she sees that these are new Tesla cars.
We're all brand new.
What?
Right? Now let me pause it. Let's go here. Yesterday, this is what has been showing up on the news.
Tesla is recalling nearly every one of its cars on the road in the U.S. over autopilot safety issues. Federal transportation officials reviewed nearly 1,000 Tesla crashes and decided that current safeguards on Tesla's auto steer feature are not sufficient to prevent driver misuse. Tesla disputed the analysis, but it agreed to a volunteer recall and a free software update with additional controls and alerts for
2 million Tesla cars recalled after this movie comes out. After seeing this and driving away, they eventually go back to the White House. I forgot to mention the noise part where there was a microwave attack where they were playing frequencies that just canceled out all of their hearing. Only one person was affected, and the son, his teeth started to fall out. What does it mean when your teeth falls out, right? Let's check. Losing teeth may also represent a loss of control over something you're trying to hold on to. At nighttime, while he's trying to look at a picture of the owner's daughter, because he cannot use the videos that he normally watches at night, so he's trying to use a picture. And he's seeing, you see how the blue light, the phone is covering his face. And they're really making the scene more blue. He has lost control of the world around him. Now we're going into the next scene, which is the flood. Now I want you to pay attention to this because this was going on throughout the movie.
This is the bed and where they sleep. You see that wallpaper with that water? Again, water is the representation of emotions. Do you know that they've changed this wallpaper 3 different times? This is a mental game to mess with people. If you weren't paying attention to it, you would not have noticed it. Look, the water's higher. Oh, but wait, it gets even higher. So just really quick, see where that light is and see where the top of the water is? I need that retrospect for this next. This is not a change in perspective, okay? Look at how much higher the water is to the ceiling. So they changed that wallpaper 3 times. This is, okay, your spirit knows that water represents emotion, okay? So this movie is already causing your emotions to grow and you don't even know why. Because you're so enthralled into the movie that you're not paying attention to the background that they're changing. Oh, but oh no, that's not the only thing that they changed. The picture in the background in the front room changes 3 times on you. But did you notice that? No, because there's no mental game being played here that people don't need to see because there's very little symbolism in this. So
you remember when Trump had said that he wants to drain the swamp, which is referencing to the government? Watch this.
We're going to drain the swamp. We're going to save our country. We are going to drain that damn swamp. And I'll tell you, I did a hell of a job. But that sucker is deep. That's deep.
Almost as if he's talking about the ocean. Pay attention to the red in the background. What color is the Democrats? Blue. He gotta, you know, Obama gotta tell you without telling you. But you already know what Obama been doing. This is just his company that has produced this movie. Now, when they got back to the house after dealing with that Tesla situation, he sat down with the woman and he told her this. Pay attention to what he's saying.
What is the truth? No one is in control. No one is pulling the strings. Sure, there are those like my friend who might have the right kind of access to the right kind of information. But when events like this happen in the world, the best even the most powerful people can hope for is a heads up.
This man said no one is in control. The best, even the most powerful people can hope for is a heads up. Then proceeds to give us this long, drawn-out, intentional pause. It's almost as if they wanted it to sink in. Is this our heads up?
The imbalance that has happened with everybody being underwater. What is going on? What is happening currently in America? People are feeling like they can't survive. Wow, the people who are running this country and the rich and all of these people who are behind the cabal, which is the conversation that they're talking about, they are all above water and they're using us as lifeboats. So they are not in control of the ocean, but they can persuade people to stay underwater to hold their lifeboats up. That is what they've been doing. These people have been running this country and trying to build these constructs and change people's state of consciousness for hundreds and hundreds of years. This masculine society, this left brain ideologies and everything that's been turned upside down. It's the curve. Do you get the symbolism? Nothing is bigger than the universe, than source, than the cosmos. You cannot control the entire universe and what is naturally designed to happen. For energetically, spiritually, physically, the changes that's happening on this planet, they are not in control of that. And y'all are so stuck inside of y'all heads and stuck inside of that blue light to where you can't see that you're drowning and you're not actually being able to follow the signs that the universe has been giving you. So there was a scene in the movie where the woman, she had said that she does not like people. She hates people. She doesn't like the way this world is and how people are. We literally mess everything up. If you pay attention to her speech, she's talking about how humans are. They mess everything up. They do it all the time without realizing. She said they mess up every living thing on the earth and think it'll be fine. Messing up with and thinking just because you eat free range chicken and you use paper straws, that means that you are helping the world and you're making the world better. When it's like, that's just what you're programmed to think that is helping the earth, right? And then she goes on this thing. She said the sick thing down inside is that we know we're not fooling anymore. We know that it's a lie. It's agreed upon mass delusion to help ignore how awful people really are about the world, about life, about the earth, about how we treat each other. And that scene came from the last part. The last part is actually what we're about to get into, which is the daughter. She is tying everything and she's about to pull everything into the movie. Let's get into it. This is Rose, the daughter of the woman who booked the Airbnb. This whole time, she has been obsessed with this TV show called Friends.
Everybody's talking about they're warning us, they're trying to tell us something. But this little girl right here, this is who you need to be paying attention to. She is what the movie is about, because we've seen time after time after time again the world-ending scenario a bunch of different ways. She had a parasocial relationship with characters from a TV show. Friends, the TV show Friends specifically. She's binge watching episodes of Friends on her iPad, literally as they're en route to the Airbnb that they're vacationing at. Her iPad starts tweaking pretty much. She loses signal. It's pretty normal, right? All right, cool. That's normal, right? That's pretty relatable to all of us. A lot of us hop on our airplane and we're on a road trip and we downloaded some episodes on Netflix or whatever we use to stream and we're binge watching. Pay attention. So she kicking it at first, enjoying the pool, you know what I'm saying, kicking it with family for a little bit. But in the back of her mind, she needs to know what happened on the finale of Friends. But they get to the Airbnb, she kicks it for a little bit, but she cannot get that off of her mind. She is still thinking about Friends. She wakes up her parents, begging her dad to fix the TV because the TV is out and she's got to know what happens on the last episode of Friends, the finale. The world is in chaos right now. They're at this Airbnb. They have no clue what's going on. I'm not going to spoil y'all. But it's like chaos is going on all around her and she's just walking around with this dead stare into the abyss the entire movie. Here's the thing though. She's very aware of her surroundings. She's aware of what's going on. She's just choosing what she wants to focus on. One day she wake up while everybody is pretty much trying to play cool while they panicking inside. She says, I'm not waiting no more. I saw something. So I'm about to run up on this house real quick and see what's good. She takes...
Okay, so let me show you what he's talking about. Now, All throughout the movie, Rosie was the first person to see every single thing that was happening. She was the first person to see the boat come onto the shore. She's the only person who's paying attention to the boat, saying it's getting closer. They finally realized that the white lion has made it to the shore, even though she was saying it the whole entire time. When she didn't have TV, she went outside and she saw a bunch of deer in the woods, right? She saw a bunch of deer in the woods while her parents are in the house, not paying attention to the surroundings. She's paying attention to nature. She walks up to the deer with her bare foot on with the NASA t-shirt. Now she's saying there's different, like they're trying to tell us something. She's compelled to go out to the woods. Even though she doesn't know what's going on around her, she senses it. And they like, oh, is this because you can't watch your show? She's like, no, it's a reason. So she goes out there and she said, I'm going out there to go see what's going on. Nature is calling me. Now, notice every time people are having a mental breakthrough, it's in this shed. This shed that's in the middle of the woods in between the White House and in between the bunker that's at the end of the movie. She realizes when she's looking out the window, I'm going to get into the next scene. Here's another circumstance. You have a self-realization inside of this shed. The night that they got back to the house from the Tesla situation, she tells her mother she's the only person who's having mental intuition when it comes down to the things that's going on around her. She may not be told, but she feels it. The melanated man whose home it is originally is still sleeping in the basement. Pay attention to that. Now, while she's in the bed with her mother and she's talking to her, she tells a story about a drowning man who had faith in God, and he had so many signs that was happening to him. Basically, one boat came to try to save him. He said, no, God will save me. Another boat came. He refused, and he said, God will save me. A helicopter came and refused and said, God will save me. He ended up drowning and going to heaven, and he asked God, why didn't you save me? And he's like, I sent you so many signs. And she said, I'm not waiting anymore. The next day, she's missing. She leaves. She goes to the house that she sees through the nature, and she finds a bunker, trusting her intuition. She says she's not waiting around anymore like everybody is. Notice how everybody, the adults, want to stay in the house. You know, they're trying to figure out what's going on, but this is where everybody keeps meeting back up at. This is where they feel safe. But she wants to venture out into nature.
Lives. You care about what's going to happen on the next episode more than you care about what's going on in your own family, what's going on in your own household. In general, not even just with the little girl, but the whole movie pretty much was trying to tell us sometimes we need to unplug, we need to disconnect. Because if we don't have technology sometimes, since we're so plugged in 24/7, we would not be able to operate without it. Because they rather binge watch. And that binge watch, it does something to your mind. And they're trying to tell you that. They're trying to tell you that even when you have an opportunity to survive, you probably won't even be aware because you're so busy consuming everything that we're putting out. You care about how a streamer lives. You care about what's going to happen on the next episode more than you care about what's going on in your own family, what's going on in your own household. In general, not even just with the little girl, but the whole movie pretty much was trying to tell us sometimes we need to unplug, we need to disconnect. Because if we don't have technology sometimes, since we're so plugged in 24/7, we would not be able to operate without it. The father was trying to save his son, and he literally was like, I'm a useless man. I am not prepared for this, and I'm just trying to save my son. But for most people, they're going to focus on everything about that movie that's saying the world is ending, instead of realizing that the movie is telling us we need to stop consuming so much. We need to disconnect and unplug. We need to go outside and touch some grass. We need to connect with people. We need to be in the loop and build relationships outside of the internet.
You see what I'm saying? Connect. Don't use this story or this information to cause fear up in your life or think that this is just what the world is going to be like. Let me show you what they're already trying to do this propaganda on it.
Breaking news about America's national security and the warnings from the FBI to local, state, and federal law enforcement about the possibility of terror attacks right here in the homeland. CBS News got a look at a new joint bulletin that warns groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS will likely use the Israel-Hamas war to increase calls for violence in the U.S. this holiday season. This bulletin right here says that the most likely primary targets could include churches, synagogues, and members of the Jewish
Hackers affiliated with China's People's Liberation Army have infiltrated critical services here in the U.S.
No, it's not. I mean, this infiltration appears to be part of a broader effort to insert chaos into our logistical systems. The information collected could then be weaponized if the U.S. and China were to become engaged directly in the Pacific. According to reporting from the Washington Post citing multiple U.S. and industry security officials, China's cyber army is invading critical U.S. services, like an attempt to break into the system behind Texas's independent power grid. Other victims include a water utility in Hawaii, a West Coast port, and at least one oil and gas pipeline, according to that report you're seeing.
Okay, as you can see, they're still doing their premeditative selective programming. They're causing fear. They're causing an uproar. Tesla recalling their cars and them putting on the news that there's a cyber attack, and then they just made a movie about it. So I just want y'all to really see, like, every single time they do something, they know that people are waking up. So they're going to contact and try to appeal to your more stressful side, because what is the conspiracy theories and people coming to be? In fear. They need to feed off of that energy. So I want to show y'all a clip of what my dad had told us about if the grid was to go down and everything would be all messed up.
A doomsday prepper.
A doomsday prepper?
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, he always caught them. You got the coordinates, right? Mm-hmm. When you go down, you know where to get to, right? I got all the weapons, I got all this, you know. Which, I mean, that's his thing. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I don't knock him for it. Right. But you know what I told you? Mm-hmm. I said, oh, you know, every time you call me with the doomsday shit, you know what I'm saying? Like Armageddon shit. I said, you know why I don't really get off into that with you? He said, no, let me tell. I said, man, because I don't give a fuck about this system. I want it to come back. I want to see this motherfucker come back. It's time. I said, how the fuck we going to get to where we need to be? For real. If this shit don't go away. If this shit don't go away, it's just going to keep getting worse, like the fuck I'm saying. You know? So I don't give a fuck if this shit go down. That's good. Something new. In order for the new shit to come in, the old shit got to go. Yeah. Right. It's the only way for new advancement. And you gotta realize that you're being controlled by people that are, these motherfuckers are diabolical. You know? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Diabolical. Yeah, I know the word definition. These motherfuckers, like, really fucking wicked, man. Seriously wicked. Yeah. Mm. And they've been pushing this shit for generations, for hundreds of years. This ain't new. Oh yeah, they've been pushing this since. This ain't new. Mm-hmm. This shit that's going on, man. If it go down, it go down. You know what I'm saying? I told him, I said, man, I don't give a fuck about these people's shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. I said, one thing I know for sure, we was here before these motherfuckers, we'll be here after. Right. Whatever the fuck go down, we gonna still be here. Right. I don't give a fuck if the grid go down, if the goddamn White House go down, whatever the fuck go down, we'll still be here. Definitely. We survive every motherfucker, man. Everything. And they know that. So, you know, I mean, like I said, that's his thing. If you want to, you know what I'm saying, stash a bunch of guns, and you know what I'm saying, a bunch of food and all this shit, that's cool, okay. So he's done. Right. But, you know, don't call me every motherfucking week talking about this. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck, man. Blow this motherfucker up. Why I give a damn? Motherfucking gunfights up in here and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm scared of that shit. Right. But he be talking like he's scared, like seriously, I ain't bullshit. He's like, no, it's going down. It's going down. Come on, man. You need to get on Telegram. Look at it. Man, fuck that shit, man. Yeah. You know, because at the end of the day, you're going to die anyway. You might as well die for something. Exactly. And see, these niggas in the streets is dying for nothing. For nothing. Yeah. A little sack. A little color here. Oh, you got your hat twisted that way. I don't know now, but when I was coming up, people get killed for having their hat twisted the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No, seriously. Like, you couldn't wear certain colors in my neighborhood and not be from there. Mm-hmm. You're going to get shot. Nigga get on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, right out the gate. So, you know, like, man. How did you deal with it? What do you mean, how did I deal with it?
I just wanted to share with y'all a conversation that had happened between my dad and him talking to us about the end of the world and people who freak out and all of that extra stuff. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's gotten to this point of watching the video, and I hope that y'all like the words of wisdom that my dad just gave to y'all. For some reason, my audio had cut out at the end, so I just want to say that I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day. Thank y'all for watching, and stay tuned for more.